Guys ready? Good evening, everybody. I'd like to go ahead and get this started. I'd like to call to order the October 21st Poquoson School Board meeting. Go ahead and get started. The first order of business, Ms. Studd, would you come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please pause for a moment of silence. You may be seated. Today, our quote comes from Plutarch. "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carroll, do we have any additions and/or modifications to the agenda?
Chair Burbridge, we have no additions or modifications this evening.
Okay, thank you. Next on the list of things is recognition. That's with Ms. Ide.
Good evening. I'm filling in for Ms. Kelly Purdy tonight, who normally does the recognitions. So before we begin giving a glowing report for our first Senior of the Month, I'd like to remind everyone that this is a program supported by one of our very generous community supporters, the Poquoson Exchange Club. This organization not only recognizes the students, but also provides a scholarship at the end of the year. We appreciate their generosity and partnership for all that they do for our high school. The October Senior of the Month consistently challenges herself by taking numerous honors, advanced placement, and dual enrollment courses. Her commitment to her studies has earned her an impressive 4.18 grade point average, as well as membership in the National Honor Society, Math Honor Society, Social Studies Honor Society, and Spanish Honor Society. Beyond the classroom, she demonstrates strong leadership and involvement in a wide range of extracurricular activities. She has been an active member of the Chick-fil-A Leadership Group, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Key Club, STEM Club, and Leo Club. She has also served in multiple leadership roles, including Secretary of the School Council Administration, Historian and Treasurer of the Excel Club, and President of the Arrive Alive Club. In athletics, she captained the JV Lady Islanders soccer team from 2022 to 2024 before advancing to the varsity team, and she currently plays on the Lady Islanders varsity field hockey team. In addition to her academic and extracurricular achievements, our Senior of the Month has gained valuable professional and community experience. She is currently completing a virtual internship with Quick Start Solutions, where she manages media files for online campaigns, organizes content in cloud-based system, and designs simple graphics to support digital initiatives. She has also dedicated significant time to community service through her work as a student helper at Barron Elementary School and Craft Elementary School, assisting teachers in classroom preparation, supporting students, and helping to create welcoming environments for the school community. Collectively, she has contributed over 40 hours of service to Barron Elementary and multiple summers of support to Craft Elementary. Please join me in congratulating Miss Addison Forrest as our October Senior of the Month. Congratulations.
Okay, next we have presentations and reports. The first presentation will be the WHRO Public Media presentation with Mr. Bert Schmidt, the President and Chief Executive Officer, and Elmer Seward, the Vice President of Education Services.
Chairman Brokerage, Mr. Casella, members of the board, thank you for allowing me to speak with you. Congratulations, by the way. My name is Bert Schmidt. I'm the President and CEO of WHRO. Unfortunately, Elmer Seward could not be here. He had a family emergency and will not be with us tonight. But we provide you each year an impact statement, and I think you have a hard copy of that with you. I'm not going to go into all the details of that report, but I have prepared for you a video that summarizes what you'll find in this report, and we can play that video.
Stands Out is the nation's sole public media station owned by a collaboration of 21 school divisions. This distinctive ownership model places education at the heart of our mission, influencing every aspect of our work. Our team of educators is committed to offering students, teachers, and families innovative, free, high-quality programs and services. One key service that WHRO offers is eMedia VA, Virginia's leading digital content repository. With nearly 100,000 free, top-quality instructional resources, eMedia VA provides educators and students with videos, interactive tools, games, lesson plans, images, and more. This platform is designed to enhance personalized learning and make classroom experiences more engaging. For our youngest learners, WHRO offers exciting educational activities to spark their imagination. Our 3 education vans visit elementary schools with programs tailored to Virginia's standards of learning, covering literacy, numeracy, scientific investigation, and technology. We also support parents and caregivers, ensuring children are prepared for kindergarten and set up for success in their early school years. For secondary educators, WHRO provides a catalog of 29 award-winning, customizable online courses and digital resources. These media-rich SOL-aligned courses are designed to integrate seamlessly with various learning management systems. They offer flexibility for face-to-face, flipped, blended, and fully online teaching environments, enriching lessons with engaging content. At WHRO, we celebrate students' achievements through competitions that showcase their talents. The Great Computer Challenge, for example, gathers school teams from across the region at Old Dominion University to tackle real-world technology problems. Another highlight is the Town Bank Regional Spelling Bee, where middle school champions compete at WHRO's studio for a chance to advance to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. The local competition is recorded and aired on WHRO each April. Elementary students also have an opportunity to shine through our PBS Kids Writers Contest. This competition invites young writers to craft and illustrate their original stories, fostering creativity and critical thinking. Our Student Advisory Board reflects our commitment to student engagement. This group of high school students offers feedback on WHRO's content and has opportunities to create their own, influencing our online courses and eMedia VA resources. We're equally devoted to supporting educators through our professional development programs. Our workshops and training sessions provide teachers with cutting-edge strategies and tools, empowering them to inspire and guide their students effectively. Visit WHRO's education webpage to learn more about how these amazing free materials, programs, and resources can benefit you. At WHRO Public Media, we're proud to partner with our local school divisions and the Virginia Department of Education to shape the future of education one student at a time.
So as you know, you're one of the 21 school divisions that literally own the license to WHRO. We're the only media company in the entire country owned by a collaboration of K-12 school divisions, and so it's a great pleasure to work with all these schools together. In fact, last week we just had the superintendents over at our shop talking about a variety of educational topics. Within the impact statement we provide you, at page 2 is an executive summary. As school board members, of course, you're very concerned about your finances. The second last paragraph on that second page summarizes your return on your investment, and I'll just read it. Poquoson City Public Schools invested $7,000 in WHRO services during the 24-25 school year and received direct and indirect benefits valued at $681,000, a return of $96 for every dollar invested. We hope you're happy with that ROI, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
I have a question. In regards to accessing your media, or your content, are parents able to access that from home, or do we need to be like in school, or?
So it depends on what you're specifically talking about.
Okay.
So if it's eMedia VA, about 95%, you can just go to emediava.org and you have access. There's a limit to the amount that has to be within Virginia, so you have to have an account to sign in because we only bought rights for Virginia.
Okay.
But short of that, most of that. Now, if it's the online courses, that's within the division. We're a manufacturer of courses. We give them to the division, and then the division decides how they're going to be used.
But I'm just talking about like someone who's homeschooled or.
Yeah, most of our services are available to homeschoolers.
Okay.
Yeah. Private school,
Okay.
public school, and yeah, everybody.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hey. Next up is the instructional update with Ms. Ide.
All right. Good evening, Chair Burbidge, school board members, Superintendent Tillett, staff, and community members. Tonight, I will be providing another brief update on the accountability and accreditation data from VDOE. Last time, I used the words "coming soon" a lot, and it still remains true. Coming soon. I shared the raw data released by the VDOE last time regarding our pass rates for our SOL assessments. We had anticipated by this meeting we would be able to share our accountability and accreditation standings, including our designations. Unfortunately, the VDOE has not yet released that data, citing the need for a third party to review it and verify it for accuracy. At this time, we do not have a specific timeline for when the data will be released, only that it is expected soon. We have reviewed the raw numbers for review of potential inaccuracies from the VDOE. So they have sent us raw data via spreadsheet. However, the state has embargoed that data, and we are not yet permitted to release this for public consumption. In discussions with other divisions, at least 50% have noted errors in that raw data that was provided by the VDOE. Poquoson is included in that. Thankfully, though, that is an opportunity for us to correct those errors so that when they send it back to us, it does truly reflect the work of our students and staff. I want to thank Ms. Kimberly Montalvo, who's been working diligently to review the data provided to us to ensure that it does reflect the hard work that our students and staff have put into it. This just serves as a reminder of the bifurcated system in which we have both accountability designations and accreditation. I wish I could give you an update on where we stand here, but we don't. So when we do have the data, we will have a designation under accountability and accreditation. Again, another reminder of how the scores will be calculated in the new framework for our accountability designation. And I did not show you this slide last time, but in the fall, so some of you were not here in the fall when I shared this slide, so I thought it'd be a great time to bring it up. So keeping in mind these percentages, Those will result in points, and those points will then end up with one of these designations between distinguished, on track, off track, and needs intensive support. And of course, if you're in the distinguished category, you're exceeding the state's expectations. If you're on track, you're meeting the expectations. One important thing to note about these scores is that the VDOE has shared with us they will not be rounding. So if you have a school that is 89.6, 4/10 of away from a 90, you will be considered on track, and they will not round up to distinguished. There is a little pushback in that, and so there's some advocacy that rounding might be appropriate, but as it stands now, that's how those scores will be calculated. Are there any questions about this before I move on? Because I have one last slide, and then I'm done for the night. Yes.
Has the VDOE acknowledged errors in the data?
Yes, and that is why they are sending the spreadsheets in order for us to correct the errors. At times, they cannot provide reasoning as to why there are errors. For example, Ms. Montalvo could tell you that she has found where the denominator doesn't match all of the cells as they add up. There's 10 more students in the denominator in the total category, and we've asked, well, where did those 10 students come from? Who are they? How can we account for them? And we don't have answers for that yet. I think that could have prompted, with so many divisions having errors, that need for that third party to verify it before we actually release the designations. And so it takes a lot of man hours, whether you're a small division or a large division, of time to search student by student to verify all of the data that's in there, because we have so many different categories where we could earn points. And we want to leave no stone unturned and make sure we have all of our points accounted for.
Thank you.
Now, going back to the designations, the 4, are they tied to dollars in any way and from funding at all? It's strictly rankings, if you
Sure.
will, qualitatively.
And it's tied to support.
I
So
see.
if you are designated an off-track or needs intensive support, there would be additional supports from the state. And of course, technically that's money, right? If they're sending a person, but it's not actual dollars coming into us. We don't get any more dollars for being distinguished as we are for being on track. A lot of our federal funding, like Title I, is based off free and reduced lunch status. So that's not tied to these. It's tied to the number of students who qualify for that and our population size.
Thank you.
I have a question. Thank you, Ms. Montalvo, for working through this data. So just trying to understand, so the state sent us a data set back that
Yes.
has inaccurate information in it. And so we have to go back in and find the mistakes?
Yes, and people have asked, did we send them inaccurate data? Because obviously they have to get the data from somewhere, and the answer to that is also no. Our data was correct, but somewhere in their process and how it mingled came back with some inaccuracies.
And I'm not going on record to try to defend the Virginia Department of Education in this in any way. But I will say this, having gone through multiple new accountability programs over the years, Virginia has used this same accountability model for many years. And people were very used to it, and the data was shared back and forth between school divisions and the department very seamlessly. And now this is a whole new model with a lot of variables, points for very different things that were not in the formula before. So in their defense, it's a lot. 133 school divisions, some of them very large, with thousands and thousands of data points going into one hub. It's a lot. So one of the challenges is they've built the boat, painted it, and sailed it all in the same year. And that's a bit of a challenge, especially to school divisions trying to make sense of it, understand it, where all the points go for various parts of the accountability program. But I think once it's all settled and said and done and vetted and people understand it, it's going to be a good model. It separates accreditation, which is by now only doing things that you must do, from accountability. How are the kids performing on various tasks. And I think this model is going to be much more aligned with what the movement around most of the country. And when we get there and it's clean and good, dependable data, I think it's going to be a model that we'll embrace. And it is higher standards. You've read about it in the news. The standards are increased, and now they're debating over cut scores that are also being increased. So it's a lot. It's a heavy lift for schools and certainly high rigor for students.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Ms. Montalvo, and I'm sure there are other folks that are working on this. We have an estimate on when they think
Well,
okay.
they didn't, but we are being hopeful, and we've put it on the November agenda.
Okay.
So we are hoping that in November we'll be able to share, our accountability and accreditation standings with you.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's all I have.
All right, one, I guess, follow-up question. Do we have enough sense of the data that we received that we can still proceed to improve any deficiencies?
Oh, for sure. And the raw data that I presented the time before, that is accurate in our SOL pass rates, and so our schools are already building school improvement plans based off of that data. Ms. Montalvo, again, tracks our attendance data very closely, so we have that to know where we can make some changes in our instructional programs or supporting students with significant needs programs. There's lots of work still happening. So some of the new categories that we don't have growth, that's a metric that is magic. It's hard to define because they have a formula that's not shared. So we don't quite have that. We do know, how many kids have AP and dual enrollment and those types of things. So we do have some data to make goals with, for sure. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So normally I have a calendar for you, and I've changed it up a bit because last year we presented on a few topics. And of course, this is subject to change if there's questions from the board or the community that we would need to change this. But we wanted to highlight even more students than we did last year, and we really enjoyed that. So in December, we're looking to do our program of studies and advanced coursework, but in January, we'd love to highlight our College Now students who are currently in the program taking courses so that you can hear from them and their experiences. February, Career and Technical Education Month, we had our students come in last year, and we'll repeat that again so we know what they're working on. A student writing expo. I've got some business that we always have to take care of in April with SPED and Perkins Annual Plan, Month of the Military Child. But we also have a new STEAM class in K2, and we love for that teacher and those students to share with us what they learned this year in that STEAM class. So, again, just wanted to share what was to come. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Roberts with the operations update.
Well, good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Tillett, staff, and community members. I want to start tonight's presentation for operations with some transparency on some issues that we've had recently with, I want to adjust this, with transportation and some of the things that we've been discussing on how to do better, especially with our communication and the system for field trips. So just a little brief synopsis on how field trips work in the division. We have, I call it the Finder set. We have Trans Finder, Route Finder, Stop Finder. It's all a package suite. Trip Finder is where the field trips staff are able to enter that, and our transportation specialist reviews those and assigns drivers as needed. A few things to kind of note. Field trips do kind of have some constraints when it's a school day. Our priority has to be to get those kids to and from school, and that includes regional programs ranging from, New Horizons, Aviation Academy, and the new College Now system, which, we want everybody to be where they need to be on time. So that kind of does constrain us to certain time frames when school is in session. Now, any other time, it just really is based on driver availability. We don't have that many drivers, but they're very school-spirited. A lot of them have been in the community for a long, long time. serving various roles and have a huge invested interest in our school system. So I'm very proud. I don't want anyone to think at any time any of this, what I'm about to say, reflects anything the drivers are not doing. I'm very proud of the work that they do, and I know when we have these kind of talks, they do take it personal because they do take pride in their work, and that is kind of a fear sometimes I have about retention. So I always go back when I make presentations like this and say, hey, this one's on us. That's not you. Continue to do what you're doing. But some of the situations we had a cross-country trip planned a few weeks ago, and we couldn't find a driver for it. This happens. Drivers get spread thin. They've got double runs through the week, other field trips that they've covered. Typically on the weekend, just like any other human, they want a break as well. So the high school was able to find another meet, I think, to substitute that one out later in the season. But then again, I think last week, the week before, we had another incident with cross country where a bus did not show. This one was on us. Unintentionally, we had 3 field trips to go out that Saturday. 2 of the 3 were scheduled and had drivers waiting on time. And unfortunately, unintentionally, we did not have one for the cross country. And for that, we do severely apologize. We have developed some systems since then to implement to make sure that there's just more hands and eyes on the system. And again, just approaching the drivers and making sure that we have a driver confirmed before that event even occurs. So some of the improvements, definitely some checks and balances, including myself, and also any school representative that would be responsible for scheduling that trip, just to call them and say, hey, it's still on, here's the driver, date, time confirmed, with some direct communication and not just relying on the TransFinder program. So that's some kind of the improvements, and again, I just can't speak highly enough of the drivers. For that one cross-country trip, a driver was contacted. We did get a driver there. It was late, but I just want to commend that one driver, waking up unexpectedly on Saturday morning to the call of duty, and at least got them there to give them a chance. So I do appreciate that. All right, some good news. Our new driver that made it through training is now assigned to Route 35, which now makes us fully staffed across the board when we don't have drivers absent. We can still have a driver fall ill or have to take a day, and we'll have to double up, but we now have a driver assigned to each route, which is the first time this school year, so I am proud of that. We did just push another driver that's fully certified and would actually be a returning driver to the division into the HR process, and we're hoping to expedite that if all goes well, which I expect it should. This person would not have to be required to do so much training because they are currently certified. They have been on our staff, so this should be a pretty quick process and turnaround, which would give us another additional full-time driver, which would severely help in situations when we do not have a driver to report. So very thankful for that. Report about Stop Finder. All invitations have been sent to parents. That system has, had its bugs like we anticipated with any new system. We've learned a few things, the write back from Power School to it and how it kind of pulls information and who it sends invitations to. They call it the primary contact, which we thought, it would be parents. No, it's literally just the first person. However, it's listed, and emergency contacts can be used too. So it took a while to figure that out and process, and then we had some issues with the calendar reverting back to pretty much blank. We've been working with support. We finally figured that out to try to get those half days scheduled, so when parents log onto the app, they don't see where it should be, midday instead of, when it's at dismissal. So working through those things, we pretty much got those settled, but, I encourage anyone, staff, parents, if you're having issues, contact us. We've been very successful with those who have contacted us to find a resolve. So I am happy about that. Tablets issues are still kind of remaining with some of them, mainly with the Wi-Fi, but fortunately that does not impact the parent app. It goes off the GPS tracker that's plugged into the code reader. So parents can still see even though the tablet's not working. Bus patrol, I know this has been a long process. Being transparent again, there's 2 items that we're trying to get them to make sure that's in the contract. That's kind of non-negotiables for us to make sure we're not overextending ourselves in any situation. Once they can agree and put that in the contract, it will be a strong agreement, I think, between us and that company. So we're at the finish line. ball's back in their court. Looking forward to hearing back from them once they, come back with their next set. And I do know that there's a proclamation, I think, that you'll read tonight about Bus Safety Week. The actual day that we celebrate is October 22nd, tomorrow. So if you see a bus driver, give them a kudos, give the little ones a little safety lecture, and that's what basically this week's about. All right, very quick update. Last time I was with you, I kind of told you about we had no freezers at one point at the high school. We installed that external freezer that was working. Just as of yesterday, we got the interior job completed and it is functioning. We haven't loaded the food yet because, there's always that, chance you want to let it run and go a couple cycles. But so far it's holding strong and we're hopeful that that's a complete build there. Safety update. Our safety committee did meet at the end of September. We did have a vendor that presented some communication style badges. Not saying that, this is something we're trying to jump on, but just something that in education has become a forefront security device that some school divisions have elected to go with. So we invited the vendor in just to see how, the options, pricing, and things of that nature. And that's kind of a goal each time that we meet each month to look at different facets of things that are out there. We talked about our crisis plan, the weapon detection systems that we have, and the Stop the Bleed kits that now is required by law to be in schools. Very exciting news. I'm not going to read all these numbers because I will mess them up, but you can see how much money that we have been awarded here recently, which is very exciting news for the use of security equipment purchasing. It's a reimbursement. This grant kind of is a different, it's reimbursement, but ever so often, they'll throw you more if you're awarded from previous years when those years' monies have not been spent, so they reallocate it to school divisions based on needs. So there's our current awards. Me and Mrs. Spence will be working to get this all sorted out. So, but very exciting that we got this new grant. Drill report, we're up to date on all our current drills, and we did the earthquake drill that happened pretty much state nationwide on the 16th. All right, project, and these are the big project updates. First with the tennis courts. I know that's been a point of emphasis. Geotechnical study has been performed. We've got the first bid from the company that actually helped us land the geotechnical study with the solution. And basically what that geotechnical study found is that we are infiltrated with water through all the layers, both from above and below. The solution currently is that, we need to build up that base foundation to give it a solid, basically pad to start from, and then reconstruct the tennis courts on top of that to prevent further cracking and using some geotechnical fabric so those pre-existing cracks don't resurface. So this will be kind of a costly thing, and that's why we're wanting to go out and try to find another bid just to see if the first price that we've been given is competitive. So all this is something that's in the works and we're focusing on and try to see what we need to do for the upcoming season. We've also discussed options on how we could kind of fix what we have to make it safe and playable, in the meantime, because as you know, if you know anything about pavement, it's very temperature and weather dependent. You can't just start paving when it's cold or the weather's bad. So we'll just have to play that by ear and make the strategic decision on that one. PMS gym floor repair has started. If you want to go and look in a window, currently it is completely repaired and sanded down. There's no paint on it right now. I just actually left a few hours ago. So they're moving ahead of schedule. They said it could take anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. I'm hoping they keep, pushing on. So, PE classes, we've got basketball season coming up, volleyball season, looking like we'll do well. So a lot of usage we need out of it, and excited to get that one finished. We have been discussing energy with some energy efficiency companies. These companies come in and basically do a huge audit of the buildings, both looking at utility bills, looking at all the equipment, and seeing if there's any way that we can achieve any efficiencies with our energy that could equate to money to be leveraged. All of this is free, and they kind of give you the list of to-dos that they could help us with, and if we so choose, they'll help us find vendors to achieve that. It ranges anything from lighting to solar to you name it, as long as it's the name of energy. The trailers at the PES campus have started to move. We now have one row completely gone. I've been talking to the vendors, kind of trying to push this along. I would like this to already be done, but, it's up to them to get these removed, but we're going to be working with them closely to make sure this is expedited. But I am happy to see them starting to move. And just kind of a little, something that's in the future, but not too near future, is the PHS roofing project that will start this coming summer. Already been talking to some manufacturers, some vendors, looking at samples. They've done infrared scans, had 2 different companies do that, comparing data, and we're really buckling down to make that decision on what system we're going to go with that will give us, one, the best coverage, best warranties, and overall, if we ever decide to go with any other route like solar or whatever, that it can support those things in the future. So a lot to consider, but I think we're in a good spot to try to make a decision on a vendor and a manufacturer, hopefully by the turn of the new year. So we can get those best contractors, or at least the hope to get that first dibs, because everybody's going to be looking for that new summer work. And that's all I have.
So, do you have all the bus drivers you need right now?
Right now, we have enough to cover all of our routes. And with the new driver that would be coming in, there is one route to phase on that currently our transportation specialist is having to drive daily still. So the problem really is we only have one substitute, and they can only work certain days, and it's only 2 days a week that they can work. So, when someone is out sick or whatever, that's when the double run starts again. So as long as everybody is well and in a good spot, yes, we're fully covered. But if anything, one thing happens, we're kind of bare bones.
So, mini celebration, just a little celebration.
Hey, having 2 new drivers right now,
That's
I'm
cool, yeah.
over the moon right now, because we could be a
Thanks.
lot worse.
Thanks.
I have a question. In regards to the tennis court,
Right.
I realize that, the work is going to be somewhat temperature and weather dependent. Have the tennis coaches and the athletic director been involved to kind of think about, because we have tennis season coming up in the spring, how's that going to work?
Yeah, we've been discussing that internally and going to look to them, because, that's the decision that we really is on the table right now, is how can we give them the best chance and facilities, with what we have. So, that could be, we do some patchwork to get them to have a playable surface for the season, and then worry about this in the summer when it's prime paving season because of the heat. Or is it something that, we're confident with, the expert opinions that we could try to push this along, which could be a risk. That would have to be a very thought out and strategic decision if we went that route.
Have we asked them if putting the tennis courts back right there next to that ditch line is a smart idea? The flooding here, it seems like water is the reason we had this problem. So
Right.
is spending money to put the tennis court right back where we had it a good idea?
Right, and, that's what that geotechnical study was for, to see what's just not, sub-level. They went and they dug and dug and dug and dug, and, they're confident with the solution that would build it up enough to give it the foundation that it needed. There have been some drains that have been installed. We can't really pinpoint when that was, but they really don't lead anywhere, and I think that that's also accelerating the problem, especially with the harsh winter that we had, because the water is channeling in, but it's not really draining out anywhere because the drain just goes straight in. And if you know anything about the freezing and unfreezing, that's going to rip apart any pavement if you have any cracks in it.
A couple other points of interest there. Our tennis courts are a bit higher, quite a bit higher actually, than the city's tennis courts that are adjacent, and further away from the tidal ditch that's closer to their courts. They've just had theirs resurfaced, I believe, last summer, and they tended to last longer than ours did between resurfacing. So this geo study that we did, we were hopeful would tell us why. That doesn't make sense. And we believe that it has a lot to do with how our courts have drained. Instead of draining off, they're draining under. There are some actual drains built into the court, which we can't figure out why, and we can't find out where it drains. So our theory is, and the geological study just shows that there's water retention under there. We all think we're draining water from the court under the court. and then it's freezing and rising, exacerbating the problem that already exists from being in a low-lying area already. But our courts are significantly higher than the city's courts and they're not experiencing the same maintenance problems on their courts.
And the city courts, they have no drains, eh?
They don't have built-in drains. So we think that's a big part of it. We're not the experts, but we've got the experts consulting us, and I think when we get a final plan, this problem should be alleviated without having to relocate the courts, because for one thing, we don't have other property that it would be easily relocated to. The second thing is, back to a little bit from Dr. Burbage's question, now it's a timing thing. We need to make sure that our students, our student athletes can have their season on schedule, and then we have to debate whether we can get this project done and completed by then, or if we need to do a patchwork, let them get their season, and then we come in after the season in the summer when it's typically better time to do tennis courts. We'll be coming back to y'all with that final plan, as well with the funding process through carryover requests. So we'll be talking about that probably at our November meeting. Yeah. Yep. Additional question? Yeah.
I know you said you're getting more quotes, but based on the quotes that you have a sense of the cost savings through repair versus constructing an entirely new court?
Well, let me just address that. Just to clarify, it needs a new court. The study shows that it needs a new court. Just putting paint on top of that, we're going to end up back in the same situation we're in. But the question then is, can we do something? Is there a cost-effective way to keep it safe through the season, and then do the project afterwards, or can we feel sure that we can get it done in time for a March start of season? So that's the big debate. But I think there's no question from the experts who have looked at it, the folks who did the study, the folks who have given a quote, and we're confident the next group that's coming in next week, I think, to look at it will all come to the same conclusion. We can't put a product on top of that will not crack again from the inundation, because it's coming from underneath, not from the elements on top. That makes sense?
Yeah, I guess my question was more along the lines, sometimes it costs more to fix an old house than it would be to just tear it down and build a new house.
Well, and this is basically that.
Right.
It's taking off the top layer to a point where you're back to kind of almost a new lot. There is some gravel base under there that is, according to the study, and of course they've drilled holes and gone down deep, they think that level is buildable, which will save us some money and not compromise the integrity of what goes on top.
Thank you.
Are there any alternative tennis courts that the students can use in a pinch?
Short answer is yes, but that's a very complicated process. For one, our kids practice every day in season. And so transporting kids, we just talked about the transportation issues, to and from an alternative site, even if we could find those sites. All the other schools are running programs just like we are. We're looking into those things, but our top priority is to try to find a way to facilitate our program on campus this year and repair it afterwards, or if have some high confidence level that we can get most of it done prior to season, and if we had to reschedule a few games early season, we could probably accommodate that.
And another important note, through this process with the vendor that we've been working with, the geotechnical team would be on site, periodically to check on things, because, there's other factors that no one can predict of settling and the things of that nature. If it occurs during the process, they're there to make sure, hey, you need to wait, or hey, go. They're the ones that would really guide us with their expertise and their metrics to tell us it's a good or bad idea to continue or wait till whenever. So it's very touch and go, but I think that they're confident with the solution that it should permanently fix it.
Questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Ms. Spence for Finance and Budget Update.
Good evening, Chair Burbidge, school board members, Mr. Tillett, staff, and the school community. In tonight's finance report, we will review the school activity fund audit report for the year ending June 30th, 2025. And you should have that at your desk, at the dais, looks like that. The activity funds report pertains to funds held at the school level and managed by the principal. For these funds, the auditors review the year-end financial statements and conduct appropriate testing to ensure that the statements fairly present in all material respects the cash receipts, disbursements, and ending balances. The auditor's opinion was that the financial statements were accurate, which reflects positively on the management of the activity funds. The audit communication letter, which is also, you have received a copy, whoa, too fast, has 2 letters in it. The first letter, titled Required Communication with Those Charged with Governance, is a required letter that outlines the audit process. If there were any issues or findings during the engagement, they would be communicated in this letter. I am pleased to report there were no issues or findings. The second letter, titled Independent Auditor's Report on Comments on Internal Control, reports on internal control deficiencies. As you will see, no material weaknesses were identified. There is a district-wide comment about segregation of duties, which is a common observation in small divisions. The basic premise of segregation of duties is that no one employee should have access to both collecting cash receipts and making the cash disbursements. As noted by the auditors, we have controls in place to mitigate this risk, and I'm confident in the effectiveness of our oversight and review processes. I'd like to recognize at this time April Firth. She's our finance coordinator who oversees all the, works with the bookkeepers on a yearly basis. And also I'd like to extend a congratulations to the bookkeepers, Beverly Naylor with the Poquoson High School, Ryan Naylor with Poquoson Middle School, Shelley Austin with Poquoson Elementary School, and Jessica Thomas with Poquoson Primary School. The fiscal year 25 financial audit for the main financial statements is currently in process and will be presented to the board by December 31st. And that concludes my presentation for this evening. If there's any questions.
Any questions? I want to thank you, Ms. Spence, for all the work that you did, and Ms. Firth, and all the rest of the Poquoson bookkeepers. That was a lot of work, and I'm sure you're glad that it's over. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to public comments. Ms. Carroll, do we have any public comments this evening?
We have one citizen for public comment tonight.
Okay. I'm going to read my statement, and then who's speaking? Ms. Extra.
I didn't realize I had to sign in. I would also like to.
Okay, go ahead and sign in. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and read the statement that I need to read while you guys are signing in. Poquoson School Board welcomes public comment during regular meetings. School board members do not respond to public comment during a meeting. All comments should address a matter related to Poquoson Public Schools. The school board will not hear public comment that involves an individual student-related matter, the disclosure of which would violate applicable confidentiality requirements. The school board expects that each speaker will be courteous, modeling for our students how one can respectfully disagree with others' views. Speakers will address their comments to the entire school board and not to one individual board member, nor to the superintendent, a staff member, or the audience. Speakers are encouraged not to engage in personal attacks. Speakers will present their comments from the podium. To follow school board policy, time allotted to speakers shall be 3 minutes. Okay. Carol, you'll run the lineup.
First speaker is Sherry Dykstra from Emmaus Road. She wants to talk about transportation and sports.
And of course, I'm going to shorten this up because I'm so happy with what Mr. Roberts just said. Hello, members of the board, Mr. Tillett, Chair Burbidge. Today, I wanted to make just a few comments on the transportation for after-school sports, especially on Saturdays. As you all know, there was the event that happened on September the 6th, where the kids found out less than 24 hours beforehand that there was not going to be a meet. And then again, on October the 11th was the morning that they waited over an hour. The varsity boys were not able to run. They missed their time. Fortunately, though, the JV boys had not ran yet, so they were able to still run that day. But of course, being varsity, they were preferred to run with the varsity kids. But those are just a couple of examples due to the limit on time. To be honest, I truly appreciate steps that are being put in place to make sure something like this might not happen again. This is definitely, I'm not standing here as a personal jab at our bus drivers. Several of them have known me since I was a baby, know my family, so I hope that they know that I'm not here to bash them or their superintendent in any way. What I'm here to ask of you all is what's going to be Plan B if this happens again? We have a national bus shortage, bus driver shortage. I'm sure we all can agree on that. But what's Plan B going to be? What's the backup plan? It's a crazy world. These kids go through a lot during the day. And we have so many amazing athletes. We have amazing thespians that go all across the state in competitions. Our band had 5 competitions this year. I had a girl on the cross country, and my son is on the band. So of course, when this started happening with cross country, I, didn't make any drama out of it. But I'm saying to myself, what's going to happen if the band can't get, all the band, all the instruments, everything? So there was a few suggestions the last few weeks that have just been batted around to me that I wanted to share with you. They're not mine, but I feel like they're worth just bringing up. One was that if all the parents agree, parents that have the kids for that particular, let's say cross country, I'll just talk about cross country. If they all agree that parents can drive them in a situation like this, can there be some type of permission slip that the parents will get, the beginning of the season, you're turning in the physical, you're turning in all these forms that you're signing off on, fees and whatnot to be a part of the team. Can we also have a permission slip? And everybody just agree, you already, parents already raised their hands, oh, I'm done. All right, the other suggestion was coaches having the CDL license, not given, of course, some coaches might not want it, but there might be some coaches that are like, yeah, I'll get behind the wheel to get them there on time. And the other is having a backup here, someone to call here, and CDL license training being given to school board members here as well in the school board office. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Dykstra.
Next speaker is Daniel Hendrew from Oscar's Court on transportation.
Hi, I'm Daniel Hendren. Sorry for being in uniform. I just came straight from work. We're a military family. We've gone to about 6 or 7 schools in my career, and this is by far the best one. So I want to up front say we love Poquoson schools. I'm here to talk about transportation as well, and I'll also caveat this, like the Assistant Superintendent for Operations did, that this is by no means a shot at our bus drivers. My kids love our bus drivers. I have 4 kids in high school, 2 in middle school, so 1 high schooler, 2 middle schoolers, and one high school, one middle school, 2 elementary. They were in primary last year, so it's a mess. But one of the reasons it's a mess is because our kids are supposed to arrive at 3:12 p.m. per the transportation schedule. The average arrival time, I did some statistical analysis on the 35 school days that we've had so far, 49 minutes late. They arrived, I heard today, it was said just a few minutes ago that we have all the drivers we need. And I guess my follow-up question would be, then why did my 2 kids in elementary school on PES Route 31 Central arrive at 4:02 p.m. this afternoon? Scheduled arrival time is 3:12, and that has happened every single day. Average notification time on Stop Finder is 3:37 p.m., which is 20 minutes after they're supposed to be home. So Stop Finder is being not super useful, and it seems to be consolidated to specifically our kids' route. The primary school, I've checked with my neighbors, are not having issues. It's the elementary school, and specifically is Route 31. I think, talking to as much as I can get out of my elementary school dum-dums, that my kids is who I'm talking about, sorry, to be clear on that, is that it sounds like Route 31 is paired up with Route 35. Those are the 2 that are always late, and they are always jammed in. 3, I've heard of rumors of 4, 2 a seat in there, and they are always, always, always doubled up and late. So I don't want to just bring problems. I'd like to bring solutions as well, and my solution would be let's share the pain. I think that other routes should have to get doubled up occasionally, and it should not be my route every single day for my kids. I'll also echo the cross-country woes. My daughter's on the cross-country team for high school as well, and they literally had to get off that bus, sprint to the starting line, and run. No stretch, no warm-ups, no nothing, which is obviously suboptimal, and the boys didn't even get to go. So that was especially made even more disheartening for her as they are sitting out there for an hour waiting, and they see the cheerleading team get picked up on time, and it seems like it's a prioritization issue. And it seems consistently allocated towards cross-country, sometimes band, as right now band doesn't have transportation for the middle school for VMEA. So Mr. Lawson, I know, is working that separate, but we don't have transportation. Like, they're asking parents to bring trucks to get our percussion instruments down to the VMEA competition right now. So I think transportation, I think we still have some work that we can potentially do, and I hope that the solution, I've got the statistics if you guys want them for the average arrival time for every single one of my kids. Standard deviation was 8 minutes, so it is consistently very late if anybody cares, but the solution I would recommend is let's peanut butter spread the pain out so it's not consolidated into 1 or 2 routes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Final speaker is Maria Heldreth from Rivergate Drive about the cross-country.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'll be, wait for that to start. Or I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. I'm going to refer to my phone just because I jotted down some notes. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. I really appreciate it. My son Liam is a 10th grader at PHS. He is a member of the men's varsity cross-country team. As mentioned by Mr. Roberts, there were 2 scheduling snafus, one that caused them to have to pull out of a race 24 hours before the race, and another that caused the varsity men's team to not be able to be eligible for their race. They were able to run with the junior varsity, so they were able to get in a run, but their times did not count towards individual awards or team awards. We had a senior runner who was seated 3rd in the varsity race, so that's a pretty big bummer as a senior. If you don't know much about cross-country, there are only a few sanctioned events during the school year. It's 3 that is organized by the schools. So we often, in order to build a more comprehensive schedule for our cross-country, they participated in invitational races on Saturday. My suggestion is that this transportation issue isn't going away. As Ms. Dykstra said, it's a nationwide shortage of bus drivers. My suggestion is that the school board, the school division, review policy that allows for a backup plan. I was there, Ms. Dykstra was there. We could have loaded kids into cars and gotten them there. I understand that there are insurance issues to deal with, and I appreciate that. But I think unless this issue goes away, unless magically 10 bus drivers fall at our doorstep, we have to start planning for a backup plan. I don't think that the option should be either you get to go because the school drives you or you don't get to go. So I think there has to be some ability to plan for backup plan and also to, be creative, like, look, I can fit 5, Ms. Dykstra can fit 5, parents sign a permission slip, or whatever creative solution that we come up with to get our students to these events. Particularly cross-country seems to be these smaller teams. Cross-country, it happened during track and field season. My son is a member of the track team as well. Bus is late for swim season. These smaller teams seem to sometimes, unfortunately, feel as though they're not priority. We have a student right now on the men's cross-country team. They're regional champions. There's no reason that they shouldn't have a bus to take them to their events. So I really think that, we just need to kind of creatively look at the policy that's in place and think of ways that we can ensure that our student athletes can take part in these events, especially these Saturday invitationals for these individual sports such as cross-country. Boom, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving along to the consent agenda, we have 4 items for this evening. We have approval of financial reports. We have authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend funds in accordance with attached request. We have approval of personnel action, and then we have approval of minutes for September's regular meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Can I get?
Second.
Second. Any discussion or questions about the consent agenda this evening? Okay. Ms. Carroll, can we have the vote, please?
Dr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mr. Dowd,
Aye.
Vice Chair DuBose,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn,
Aye.
Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Thank you. Moving on to other matters for consideration. The first item is consideration of approval of designee for VDOE grant application approvals in absence of division superintendent. Can I get a motion to approve item A?
So moved.
Can I get a second? Second. Any questions or discussions about this? This is basically going to allow Ms. Ide to sign grant applications to VDOE if Mr. Tillett is not available, or is that correct? Correct. Okay, and you're the one that's mostly involved with those to begin with, so that kind of makes sense. So we have a motion and a second. We ready for the vote? Okay. Ms. Carroll, the vote?
Dr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mr. Dowd,
Aye.
Vice Chair DuBose,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn,
Aye.
Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Okay, item B is consideration of approval to adopt the AP Environmental Science textbook for Poquoson High School. Can I get a motion to approve item B?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion? Okay, I actually went up and looked at the textbook. It is an excellent textbook. I felt like it covered a lot of the things that I do professionally as in aquatic toxicology. I feel like the kids that are taking this class are going to have a great experience and learn a lot of real-world environmental science concepts and things like that. So I kind of wish I had a copy of it, to be honest with you. But I think it's a good textbook. So any other questions? Ms. Carroll, the vote?
Dr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mr. Dowd,
Aye.
Vice Chair DuBose,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn,
Aye.
Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Okay, item C is consideration to authorize the superintendent to sign a contract for custodial services with Service Master Commercial Services for the 2026-2027 school year. Can I have a motion to approve item C?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion?
I would like to just make one comment regarding service masters and the contract. I have no issues entering in the contract. I just want to make sure that we continue to hold them to their contract as we move forward to the next year.
Okay. Ms. Carroll, the vote?
Dr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dubose?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Chair Burbidge?
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Okay, last item, item D, is consideration of approval of proclamation for Bus Safety Week. And let's see, where is the, I'll go ahead and, why don't we get a motion to approve the proclamation, and then I'll read it after the second.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. The proclamation is for School Bus Safety Week from October 20th to October 24th, 2025. Whereas public transportation helps hundreds of Poquoson's children arrive safely to and from school each day, and whereas the average school bus transports 54 students, replacing approximately 36 family vehicles, increasing the convenience and efficiency of student transportation, and whereas school buses are designed with safety measures, including bright colors, stop sign arms, and cross-view mirrors to avoid crashes and prevent injuries, and whereas the highest standards of school bus safety are maintained through rigorous driver training and certification requirements, and whereas school bus transportation employees should be recognized for their steadfast commitment to safely transporting Poquoson students. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on this 21st day of October in the year 2025 by the School Board of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, that October 20th through 24th, October 24th, 2025, is recognized as School Bus Safety Week in all Poquoson City Public Schools. So, without further ado, Ms. Carroll, the vote?
Dr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Vice Chair Dubose?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Chair Burbidge? Vote passes 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. I guess we're moving on to the last item here is communications and/or other matters by school board and/or superintendent. Stud?
So to start with our summary of what's going on in all of the schools, Poquoson Primary School had a positive and engaging month. We recently hosted the Omega Man Anti-Bullying Assembly, which inspired students to show kindness, courage, and respect. Our students are ready to be dream makers and not dream breakers. Not only do we get to see our PHS athletes for Fun Fridays, but this week we're looking forward to welcoming PHS athletes for Read Aloud to a Child Week on October 23rd. Athletes from all sports will visit classrooms to share stories and inspire a love of reading among our students. We're so excited for this special event. Next week, we are excited to kick off Anti-Bullying Spirit Week as we work together to put a lid on bullying and color our world with kindness, and also wrap up the week with our much anticipated book character parade. During Spirit Week, we'll also welcome the Mobile Dairy Classroom, which will offer students a fun and hands-on learning experience about agriculture and where their food comes from. Moving on to Poquoson Elementary School, they are joining together against bullying with our Anti-Bullying Spirit Week this week. Our students are socking it to bullying, putting a lid on bullying, and wearing orange for unity and dressing in maroon and gold to team together against bullying. We want all of our students and staff to be respectful to each other, and this week brings awareness to our efforts. Poquoson Elementary students are also celebrating the success of our fall fundraiser. We surpassed our goal, and all classes will have extra recess. Our top-selling students from each grade will be helpers for a day, giving our Encore, office, and other school staff an extra hand. All grade levels enjoyed a movie during lunch, and the best incentive was seeing Miss Grisco kiss a real-life snake on our announcements. Our teachers are scheduling parent-teacher conferences right now, and we encourage all parents to sign up for a time to meet with their child's teacher to learn more about how their child is doing so far in school. We appreciate the support our families provide to our students and school community. Poquoson Middle School is all in. Our school counselors have been hard at work setting students up for success through engaging classroom lessons. All 6th grade students recently participated in a counseling session entitled Making the Most of Middle School. As part of this lesson, students viewed a tips and tricks video created by 7th and 8th grade PMS students who shared personal advice on managing lockers, homework, organization, friendships, and extracurricular involvement. In recognition of October as Bullying Prevention Month, our counselors have developed homeroom lessons and produced weekly videos that define bullying, teach students how to respond to bullying and mean behaviors, encourage them to be upstanders, and highlight the power of kindness. To spread positivity, students wrote encouraging messages on Post-it notes and placed them around the building for others to discover. Tomorrow, students and staff will join together for Unity Day, wearing orange to show our shared commitment to preventing bullying and promoting kindness. Students in the PMS Adaptive Special Education Program recently participated in their first community-based instruction field trip, visiting the Poquoson Public Library and the Poquoson Diner. During the outing, students had the opportunity to practice essential social, communication, and money management skills in real-world settings. These community-based instruction experiences bridge the gap between the classroom and the community, providing meaningful, hands-on learning that fosters independence and builds lifelong skills. We're also looking forward to our Fall Dances Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. and to celebrating Red Ribbon Week, October 27th through the 31st. Each day will feature a themed spirit activity promoting a drug-free lifestyle. In support of this year's national theme, Life is a Puzzle, Solve It Drug-Free. Finally, congratulations to our Golden Bull Students of the Month. In 6th grade, we have Moxley Fisher. In 7th grade, we have Maisie Vandegrift. And in 8th grade, we have Tommy Estes. We deeply appreciate our entire school community, students, staff, and families for their partnership and shared dedication to making Poquoson Middle School a positive and welcoming place for all. Lastly, we have the Poquoson High School. Poquoson High School had a busy and exciting month, and things are looking great. Thank you to our wonderful PTO for providing a delicious brunch on September 18th, and to everyone who participated in our homecoming festivities, students, faculty, and families, for bringing energy and pride to the parade route and cheering on our home team. Congratulations to our homecoming king and queen, our hallway decorating winners, and the spirited senior class for taking home the pep rally spirit stick. Last week, sophomores and select juniors participated in the PSATs, and tomorrow our juniors and seniors will have the opportunity to take the ASVAB. Regional tournaments are beginning soon for fall athletics, and we look forward to many exciting events ahead. Congratulations to our golf team on finishing 3rd in the state and to Landon Hermansky for advancing to states, where he delivered a strong performance and was named All-State. A big congratulations also goes to our band for a successful start to their competition season. With more great performances to come and their assessment tomorrow, as always, please check the Island Times on Parent Square for important updates from PHS. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maxwell?
All right, I will always begin with my preemptive echo of what my colleagues will say that I will inevitably forget. Special congratulations to the first senior of the month, Miss Addison Morris, starting the year off strong, very impressive resume. Congratulations to her. Thank you to Mr. Bert Smith from WHRO for that presentation, and thank you to WHRO for providing what I wrote down was a $680,000 return on our investment. So thank you to them for using our investments and bringing that back to the community. Thank you to Ms. Ide and Montalvo for their work with the VDOE accreditation review. Thank you to Ms. Spence and her team. I apologize, I didn't get all the names of everyone involved there, but thank you to them for that, getting through that audit. Thank you to Mr. Roberts, as always, for your operations team and everything you do, juggling all those projects at one time, as well as working on issues with our buses and school safety, so thank you. To all of those, without directly responding to those public comments, thank you to all those people who showed up and voiced their opinions and concerns. I appreciate, as always, hearing from the community. Also, thank you to whomever was in charge for the Omega Man presentation at the primary school. That was a big hit in our household. Thank you to our special congratulations to those Golden Bowls. Again, I apologize I didn't get the names down quick enough. Congratulations to them. And lastly, thank you to everyone involved with the homecoming festivities, especially the homecoming parade. I got to participate with my kids through youth sports, riding in the parade, and there was, I got to say, had a big sense of pride. We had a couple of parents in our organization that aren't from the city, and they were amazed when they were riding on the float, seeing the outpouring of support from the community and everyone that was there. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Mr. Dowd?
I'd just like to echo everything that he just said. Ms. Grisco, kissing that snake, I heard about that from so many kids, and you could never pay me enough. So I want to say, though, that it is very nice to have a community that cares so much, and principals and teachers that go out there and do everything you guys do above and beyond. And thank you for everybody with the public comment, and thank you for your service, sir.
Ms. Horsborn?
Yes, sir. So first of all, not congratulations, thank you to all of our bus drivers. I always tell them I don't know how they do it, because I can handle a whole school full of kids, but not a bus. And I appreciate transportation, everyone who's been working so hard on that, our parents who came with thoughts, ideas, and possible solutions. It's all a big part of making us successful. Also, congratulations to Ms. Forrest for being Senior of the Month. I did want to say WHRO, amazing program. If you haven't checked it out, the STEM bus and the literacy van are amazing. The first time I saw the literacy van, those kids have graduated a few years ago, so it's been around for a long time. And the online services are great also, and great computer challenge if you've never supported our kids there. If you ever have the opportunity to coach, again, an amazing opportunity. Pep rally, I heard was amazing, and that the juniors really did great with their tug of war, and they beat those seniors. And I do want to say, if you have not been out to see the band yet, or the show choir, both are amazing. The band's performance this year has been fantastic, and the show choir at Seafood Festival was amazing. So support that. Go band.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Bartlett?
Thank you. I want to echo all the kudos that everyone else has given, particularly to busy Addison Forrest. I mean, she just sounds like one of the busiest people I've ever heard of. I had no idea that WHRO, I mean, I'm a fan, I listen quite regularly, but I had no idea that they're so involved in supplementing educational materials and activities in the school system. So I'm thrilled, and I immediately put down the website, which I could get into just from here, so that's good news. Bus Safety Week, I'm encouraging anyone who's interested in being a bus driver to please apply during that week. I'm with you. My sister was a school bus driver, but I could not. It's an incredible job and very difficult. So I really want to laud all of our bus drivers. A clean audit, Ms. Spence and your crew, that's always a good thing. And the last thing I'll say is, I know all of y'all know I was a classroom person for my whole career, and I always loved Halloween. And so I will say this, I just hope everyone has a really safe, because it hits on Friday, which is unusual. I'd rather it be on Wednesday. But since it's hitting on Friday, I just wanted to say, I hope everyone has a really safe and just a little bit sinister Halloween, and everybody gets lots of candy. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Jones?
Yes, I'll start with the Poquoson Exchange Club. A big thank you for all of their support of our schools. I look forward to the Student of the Month recognition every month, and a big congratulations to Miss Addison Forrest. What amazing accomplishments. And also of note there, it may not have been visible on camera, but I did notice quite a few of Addie's field hockey teammates here in the crowd, and thank you to them for coming. That is pretty awesome, and just teammates on the field and off the field, just to call attention to that. That's also a wonderful example that I was very pleased to see. Ms. Ide and Ms. Montalvo, thank you for all the accountability and accreditation work. I imagine for a small division, it can be especially cumbersome to sort through data and things like that. We just don't have as many bodies sometimes as a larger division, so that is not unnoticed. Thank you for that. Mr. Roberts and the bus drivers, thank you. It's funny how many connections. My grandma was a bus driver for many years, so I do know it is a thankless job, but such an important one. And thank you to all of our drivers, and in honor of Bus Safety Week, as well as to our speakers on that note. Thank you for your time and for coming. More to come there. There's always room for improvement. So thank you to our drivers, and thank you for all the work that's being done and will be done in that area. Ms. Spence, thank you for overseeing the audit process. Ms. Firth, our school bookkeepers, that is really outstanding. In a prior career, I was an auditor, and you don't often see activity fund audits with no comments. And the segregation of duties comments is not a thing. So we had no individual school comments, and that is outstanding. So thank you for all of your work there, and a thank you to the fine auditors of Brown Edwards for their fine services as well. I think that was, lastly, thank you to PHS for a successful homecoming week. That was really awesome to see. I think it really rallies the entire community, but really a lot of fun for our students, really important, a lot of hometown pride. So final good luck to all of our sports teams for the fall as district competitions are getting underway these next few weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeBose?
All right, I'm not going to say the E word, but I'm going to underscore everything else that everybody else has said. A few things. Earlier this month, attended the Health Advisory Board meeting. Just a quick update on that. You know, Ms. Worthen heads that up. A lot of good initiatives being pushed forward through that group throughout our school system, especially for our staff, but also for our students. So I want to thank all of them for all the work that they're doing related to that. And it's, you know, really positive to turn around and hear what we're trying to do for everybody through that initiative. Talking about bus drivers, a few weeks ago, I was going through some things, cleaning up after moving Dad out of his house, and I ran across a beanie that my bus driver gave me when I moved in to the house that my parents were in. So it's it's truly, unfortunately, a thankless job in some cases, but they truly do care about their kids, and it's great that we honor them this month. And finally, I've heard a few things bouncing around where some of the students in the elementary school want a do-over for the snake kiss. They feel like somebody may have cheated a little bit, so gauntlet's been laid down, so I think we need to maybe a little bit of redo. So that's all I got.
Thank you. There's not a whole lot that hasn't been said, but I'm going to say some things the second time. Congratulations to Ms. Forrest as Student of the Month, and thank you to the Exchange Club for sponsoring that monthly award and all the other great things that they do. Not necessarily school related, but I worked at the Seafood Festival on Friday and Sunday, and I saw a lot of student groups working there, volunteering there. Specifically, the football team on Sunday afternoon helped break all the tables down. That was a huge relief for me because I was worried I was going to have to get involved in that. So, it was great to see all the students from Poquoson participating in small but meaningful ways at the Seafood Festival. I'd like to thank WHRO for coming. They do provide a lot of great instructional work. I know that I've looked at it, just to see things like math courses, science, foreign languages. to the families here in Poquoson, it's worth taking a look at. Regarding bus drivers, I'm thankful for each and every one of you. I know it's a hard job, but it is perhaps one of the most important jobs in our school system. It's getting our kids from home to school and back safely. So you're appreciated, especially the Route 34 bus driver who has to take my son from school every day. I know he can be a handful sometimes. Lastly, Ms. Spence and your group, again, I've said this once already, coming through with a clean audit. I know that took a lot of work to get everything together, but I feel like you're instilling principles across our school system, and between Ms. Firth and your bookkeepers, they're doing great work. So thank you for being a good leader in that aspect. Thank you for all the speakers who showed up tonight. If there are problems in our school system and you're at home, rumbling and things like that, you can always contact any of the school board members. We all have an open door policy. Email us, call us. And then if you feel like you need to come, please don't be embarrassed or shy, or, we're all parents here in this room, so, come and speak. We want you to come. That's how we figure out a lot of what's needs improving. And then congratulations to the golf team for a third in the state. That's a pretty significant accomplishment. And then best of luck to the band for us tomorrow. That's all I have.
And I will, rather than use the E word, I'll put a big exclamation point behind all of these amazing things you've said today, and I won't repeat them. But I do want to shout out to our middle school band again, who will be representing Poquoson at the Virginia Music Educators Association Conference. And I believe I'm correct in this, that this may be the first middle school band ever invited for this very prestigious honor. I was allowed to write a letter on their behalf, and it was an easy letter to write. They are an amazing bunch of talented musicians, and I can't say enough about Mr. Lawson and his leadership in that program. It's grown in size and capacity since I've been here, and it is they are extremely fun to watch. The jazz band, they can really jazz it up. I'm really looking forward to their concert next week, I guess it is, week after, in preparation for, I'm looking at Melissa. It's coming in the very near future.
They're doing a warm-up for Halloween.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Lastly, Ms. Carroll, do we have any other materials for board review?
There are no additional materials tonight.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would like to go ahead and close tonight's meeting. Everybody have a great evening.